Thank you very much for joining and welcome to our event today. We hope you find it really useful. Today we're focusing on Copilot for Microsoft 365. Although we've done other events in the past around Teams Phone, Microsoft 365 Business Premium, various other Microsoft technologies and associated technologies related to that Microsoft 365 piece. So today, I'm Ian Lohman from Adepteq. We're a Microsoft Gold Partner and Microsoft 365 Specialist. We've been working with SharePoint since its inception in 2003 and the Microsoft Cloud since it started back in 2007. We manage and run our own business using the Microsoft Toolkit, so we've been there as a small business working with these Microsoft tools as they've grown and evolved. Paul, who's joining us today, is from Ingram Micro. They're our partner for Microsoft licensing services. So they help us with all our customers deploying licenses and help them with the licensing. And they're the largest Microsoft distribution partner worldwide. So Paul has a lot of experience within the Microsoft 365 or modern work as it's termed now environment. So the agenda today that we're going to run through. So first of all, Paul's going to outline some of the current trends in work and technology. Paul will then focus on the specifics of Copilot for Microsoft 365, and there's some great videos to demonstrate the time-saving functionality you obtain with Copilot for Microsoft 365. Paul will also cover the behind-the-scenes bit, so understanding how it fits together and how the data is managed. Please use the Q&A facility on Teams and we'll respond to these at the end of this session, because we'll then have a quick 2-minute breather just to give you a chance to prepare any questions you've got if you need a toilet break, something like that, before we then come back and I will come back to cover preparing for Copilot, the risks, the issues that can arise if you do not fully prepare your environment before adopting Copilot. I will also cover our cost-effective Copilot for Microsoft 365 compliance check, and then any further questions that you have will be covered at the end. Okay, so if I just move this next slide on and hand over to Paul.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, thank you very much for joining. As Ian said, what I'm going to do is initially just set the scene as to why Copilot and then go into a little bit more detail. So the platform shift to AI is well underway. Just as customers, if you can remember the dark days of COVID, they turned to Microsoft to help them make the shift to remote and flexible working. And we're now turning to Microsoft to understand how this new era of AI will change work yet again. We do that through our annual work trend index, as well as productivity signals from the Microsoft graph and labour markets, trends from LinkedIn. The Microsoft Work Trend Index is a report that provides insights into the evolving nature of work. So the latest research focuses on the impact of AI on the workplace and how it's shaping the future of work. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the term digital debt. So just to give you an example, whilst I'm sat on this webinar for the next hour, I'm probably going to get inundated with various forms of communication, whether that be emails or Teams messages. And the data that we're seeing from the Trend Work Index help us understand what empowers the use of technology in the workplace. So as it states on this particular slide, some 64% of people have struggled with finding time and energy to get their work done. And whilst we look on the right hand side, we can look at how that data is being now consumed from the early adopters. So up to 70% of people say that Copilot has made them more productive. 68% have said Copilot improved the quality of their work, etc. Next slide, please. I think personally, this is the most powerful slide on the whole deck. How AI is being consumed, but more importantly, how quickly. We've not really experienced diffusion at this scale in any tech industry before. So if you see there, mobile phones have taken 16 years, internet 7 years, ChatGPT, incredibly, 2 months to reach that 100 million users. So it's quite incredible. So the age of Copilots has arrived. There's several different Copilots. But the one that we're talking about here today is Microsoft Copilot. So if we look at the productivity around Word, Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, that's where we're looking at today. But Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, have also introduced another host of Copilots. So whether that be Copilots for business, analytics with Copilot, Fabric, security Copilot, there is a plethora of different Copilots out there. The one that we're talking about today, just to be clear, is the Microsoft Copilot. And I think Ian's just going to show a short video just to make sure that everybody's still alive and still awake. Yeah, thank you.
Whoa. Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop. Stand still, that's the motto. Yeah. Brand new bands for the auto. Oh. Foot to the ground, full throttle. Big energy for the night like lotto. Y'all talk lots, never this quiet. Life like a Seinfeld plot. Vault full of songs, all of them bombs. Something like a minefield guy. Boom. Get it, tickets running out quick. Read it, never get it outbid. Said it, never had to shout it. They said I couldn't ever do it, okay, how's it? Fit a week worth of work in a minute. Machine well oiled, you know how I stay efficient. To do list written, I do this different. Hold up, wait a minute, I ain't finished. Okay. Look, flows the same now. Paved the way, the snakes and fakes are chased out. Back to back to back, I changed the pace now. Had to stack the cash until the bank's out. Straight to the top, never going down, don't wait for the drop.
A nice marketing video by Microsoft just to give you a bit of more of an overview of Copilot. So how does it work? Well, Microsoft Semantic Index works with large language models by using multiple language models that sit on top of the Microsoft graph to interpret user queries and produce sophisticated, meaningful, and multilingual responses that essentially help you be more productive. Copilot for 365 combines the power of these large language models with your data in the graph, your calendars, emails, chats, documents, meetings, and more. And the apps turn your words into the most powerful productivity tool on the planet. So Copilot for 365 isn't just a better way of doing the same things, it's an entirely new way of working. So Microsoft's large language models are used for artificial intelligence to analyze and generate text, images, and audio. They're trained on huge amounts of data and can perform various tasks such as summarizing, predicting, and creating content. So this allows you to be more creative in Word, more analytical in Excel, more expressive in PowerPoint, more productive in Outlook, and more collaborative in Teams. So Microsoft have built Microsoft 365 on three base foundational pillars, one being security foundation, one being AI at work, and the third one being a complete culture shift. So now we're just going to discuss and go through the security foundation. Excuse me. Microsoft Copilot for 365 respects all your existing security that's housed around your data. So if you, the user, can't currently access a file because you don't have those particular permissions in place, Copilot will not circumvent these current security, sensitivity, and data protection labeling. All Copilot will do is expedite the process of finding that particular file and by finding it a lot quicker. So before you introduce Microsoft 365 Copilot or Copilot into your environment, Microsoft recommends that you build a strong foundation of security. On top of Microsoft's commitment to the security provided as a public cloud service, you will also, as I mentioned earlier, inherit security policies and controls that are currently in place with your licensing. And Ian's going to go into this in a little bit more detail a bit later about how Adepteq can improve your current security posture. So if you were to deploy Copilot, where do you believe that you currently sit within this journey? Are you aware of what data is currently sensitive? Where does that current data reside? Who has access, for instance, how it's being used, and what is the risk? If you are aware of where you sit, low risk may need require you to do a proof of concept or a subset of users. If you're medium to high risk, you want to potentially look at putting extra security protocols in place before you adopt Copilot. And as I say, Ian will discuss this later in the webinar. Just want to go through some of the security that's on the licenses at the moment. If you adopt Copilot and put that on top of a business standard, you're only getting the free version of multi-factor authentication, for instance. Whereas if you go for what we say is best-in-class security controls, which you can get through Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and that's going to allow such things as conditional access and manual sensitivity labels. And just to follow on from that, if you're going to adopt Copilot on Office 365 E3, you will get the multi-factor authentication and the sensitivity labels. But if you enhance that by going on to 365 E3, you'll include the conditional access. And then later on, if you go onto the 365 E5, you're going to get user session risk and access control, automatic sensitivity labels, etc. So now we're going to look at AI at work. So I've just put together a slide here which shows some of the, or profiles some of the user groups and how they will benefit from Copilot. So if we look at a marketing department, for instance, they can benefit from Copilot in several different impactful ways. So Copilot can handle tasks like scheduling social media posts, sending out email blasts. You can do personalized marketing campaigns by Copilot creating these marketing experiences by analyzing customer data quicker and predicting the preferences, which can improve engagement and the return on investment. If we want to go even further and deeper and start to talk about customer service chatbots, Copilot can power these chatbots that provide real-time assistance to customers, helping to resolve the issues and ultimately increase your productivity. And similarly, if we look at impact by function, HR can allow you to communicate policies and draft job descriptions quicker. We've already gone through marketing, but in sales, you can have better sales conversations and close more deals, create sales presentations and proposals quicker, right through to finance. If you just want to simplify financial reporting and planning and processing, identify performance improvements, report metrics using professional charts. And then if we just want to look at how we can have more effective and meaningful meetings by quickly catching up on missed meetings, summarize a meeting and identify the next steps, looking at the data analysis, get answers from all across your data, instantly uncover key insights. Next slide, please. So next, we're going to talk about how we can supercharge that productivity. And we do that simply by unlocking that access to data. As I mentioned earlier, Copilot won't see anything that you can't already see. All it's going to do is find it quicker. And that's what we mean by supercharging your productivity. And the other point is, I mean, who's been there where you open up a presentation, you've got a complete blank page. Copilot will allow you to be more innovative, more creative by asking a very quick prompt of, can you do a presentation based on yesterday's meeting, for instance. Next slide, please. There we go. So we're just going to now just look at the various different applications that we've got. Copilot in Outlook, for instance, can enhance the Outlook experience by providing several different features. Email management, it can help and assist with drafting emails, providing options for the tone and the length even to ensure your message conveys the right sentiment. And then we're just going to have a short video which is going to just bring this to life.
Copilot in Outlook can help you prioritize your time and stay on top of meetings. Here you've been invited to a meeting that conflicts with a meeting you're planning to attend. Clearly, you can only attend one. From the meeting invite, you can choose to RSVP with follow. Switching over to your calendar, you're now at this meeting. Once the meeting starts on Teams, the organizer will receive a notification to record the meeting because someone is following it. Now, after the meeting is done and the recording is ready, Copilot will notify you that the meeting recap is ready for you to review. You can then ask Copilot some questions about the meeting, like, summarize this meeting, or are there any action items for me? That way you can stay on top of things as if you were present during the meeting.
So Copilot in Microsoft Teams can greatly enhance meeting productivity and collaboration. Who's ever been in the position where you get invited to a Teams meeting, but for whatever reason, you've got another meeting in the calendar, so you can't attend? And this is where Copilot can assist to summarize key discussion points, who said what within the meeting, and if there's anything for you to have to do post that meeting which you haven't attended. So effectively, you're asking Copilot to attend that meeting on your behalf. You can have more effective meetings. You can have a post-meeting recap and also intelligent recap, which we'll just go through on this next slide. But first, we're just going to bring that to life again through a short video.
Imagine you have an appointment that conflicts with your weekly business review. What if you do both? With Copilot, you can opt to follow a meeting. After the meeting ends, Copilot will summarize what you missed. You'll get a notification in Teams when the recap is ready. This recap will highlight content that was shared, summarize notes, and any action items for you or others whose names were mentioned. You see that one of your customers was discussed, and you want to learn more. You can ask Copilot clarifying questions, and it provides a detailed response. It can tell you why a certain decision was made, and gives you helpful context. You can even ask Copilot what other solutions were considered, and it provides citations from the transcript, so you can see where Copilot drew these conclusions. It's a huge time saver. So that was pretty cool. But the real magic of Copilot happens during a live meeting. Let's say you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize the meeting so far. You can see how it summarizes who said what points were made, and it's really capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions are unresolved. It's just amazing to see this happen in real time during a meeting.
So I think that summarized it quite well, but post-meeting recap. So effectively, after the meeting, Copilot is available on the meeting recap tab, providing you with summaries, listing unresolved questions and suggesting follow-up actions. Just to be clear, Copilot isn't that clever. So whilst on this meeting, it's not going to understand, this is not going to understand that I said a certain thing within a meeting. It's done on a tenant level. So if you're in a shared environment, it's not going to pick out Ian's voice against my voice. It's only going to do it on the tenant. So just to be clear on that. But what you can do is, as it says there in Copilot in Teams, you can have this function on demand based on unique prompts and conversational interaction with citations. You just go to the next slide, please. So effectively, Copilot for 365 is going to be allow you to be more creative in Word and PowerPoint. It's going to allow you to think faster by analysing trends and creating data visuals in Excel, and make meetings more creative with Whiteboard. And then we're just going to cover now how Copilot in PowerPoint can assist you better and increase your productivity. And a short video again, which is going to bring it to life.
Copilot can also help you ensure everything you create is customized to your organization. Let's say you need to edit a slide for this presentation. Copilot can now pull in images from your brand or corporate image library. And soon, you can use DALL-E 3 to combine your corporate assets to fit your creative vision, so that great idea in your head comes to life in seconds, no photo shoot required.
Excellent, thanks, Ian. And the next, we're going to discuss Copilot in Excel. If you're anything like me, I'm okay with Copilot. With Excel. A few functions I'm okay with, but I'm certainly far from an expert. But Copilot will allow you to become that expert by assisting in visualizing key insights. You can also ask Copilot to perform tasks like creating formulas quicker, adding highlights, sorting, filtering and analyzing the data for the insights. And again, we're going to have a short video which will just bring all of what I've just said to life.
Python in Excel brings the world of Excel and Python analytics together, and now Copilot is here to help you along the way. With the new PY function, you can use powerful Python libraries right within your Excel workbook to create compelling plots and visualizations, train machine learning models, and other advanced analytics. With Copilot, you don't need to be an expert. All you need are simple prompts. Want to estimate your future sales? Copilot can generate forecasts using one of the multiple Python libraries available through Python in Excel. You can then better understand and visualize the data by requesting a chart. With Copilot, you can create Python visualizations like multiplots to see how variables relate to each other, or use powerful data cleansing techniques such as regex to apply consistent formatting to your data, or apply machine. Copilot brings the rich capabilities of Python in Excel to your fingertips.
There might have been a little bit of lag on that last video. I hope you managed to get most of that. Next, we're going to look at Copilot in Word. So this represents, a new era of writing by harnessing the power of AI to transform what would be a blank page into a complete document in the time it would take to write it yourself. So it can assist with drafting documents, content creation, refining the content. And again, we're just going to have a short video which will bring all what I've just mentioned to life.
When you've written a paragraph in shorthand, you can highlight it and click Rewrite. Copilot then offers several alternate options to choose from that are all written professionally, and it can translate wordy or complex paragraphs into digestible visualized tables. You can use Copilot to add a column with extra data, which it can complete automatically. Copilot also makes you the expert on any document. Simply ask a question about the content, and Copilot will provide a concise response.
And finally, we're just going to look at how what a culture shift this is going to be now once everybody starts adopting more AI. So by integrating Copilot into your workflow, you're not just getting an assistant, you're adopting a comprehensive tool that enhances every aspect of your work. It's like having a Copilot for your daily tasks. And it's well worth just stressing just at this point, it's not called Pilot or Autopilot. It's not going to do all of your work for you. And it still needs human intervention. I've actually used Copilot in some form for a little while now, and yes, it's increased productivity 100%, but it does still need that human intervention to double check. It's not going to do everything for you. And I think there's some misconceptions out in what we're finding. People saying, oh, this is going to take my job. It's not going to take your job. What it will do though, people that are familiar with AI and familiar with Copilot potentially we're going to increase their chances of getting your job. So what can you do now? You can adopt Copilot, what was being to enterprise for free right at the moment. That's going to give you some of the foundational capabilities. It will also give you some web grounding and commercial data protection. If you're looking to adopt Copilot for 365, there is a cost associated to it, but that's going to give you all of the above that are on the right hand side. I'm now going to hand back to Ian. And Ian, thank you very much. Thank you much, everybody.
Thank you, Paul. Right, yeah, so we just have a 2-minute breather now, just to give a chance if anyone wants to put any questions forward or just have a quick comfort break, and then we'll come back with the potential risks and the importance of preparing for Copilot, because things can go wrong, and we've had clients where things have gone wrong, where they've rushed into Copilot without considering some of the possible pitfalls. Okay, we like to give people a quick break in our webinars just so they can, you know, that digital debt we was talking about, check your emails, make sure nothing important's come in, decide what you might be doing following this, and of course just to consider what you've heard so far. So we'll jump back in now. So we use Copilot at Adepteq. I've used it for quite some time now, and it's fantastic at helping you, like Paul said, with your productivity. So for example, I do a lot of proposals for organisations, and often they say, can we have a presentation to the board on your proposal? So with Copilot, you can take that Word document and create a proposal in PowerPoint using that Word document, using Copilot. So things like that have been really useful. And if you've got a long email chain, you've been on holiday and you come back, as I was last week, and you come back, you can click on the button that summarises that email chain, which is really, really great for finding out the crucial information really quickly that you want. So we need to prepare for this though. So the importance of preparing for Copilot. So preparation is, you know, really important. So proper preparation is the foundation for a smooth and secure integration, ensuring you maximize the benefits of Copilot while minimizing those potential risks. Great analogy when I was talking to Paul yesterday, he's just saying think about it like bringing a toddler into your home. Just as you childproof your home by securing sharp edges and creating a safe environment, it's crucial to thoroughly prepare your IT infrastructure before integrating Copilot. Without proper precautions, your valuable data and business operations could be at risk, much like a curious toddler exploring an unsecured home. We'll now explore why this is so vital. So, a Copilot without thorough preparation can lead to several significant risks for your business and data. So let's explore some of the dangers in this. So first, data breaches and security vulnerabilities can arise from misconfigured SharePoint settings, leaving your sensitive business data exposed. Now, as Paul said, if people haven't already got access to it, they won't be able to find it, you know, if they haven't got access to it. But they might have access to it, but be unaware they have access to it because they've never done a search or they've never looked for it. Although with Copilot, because Copilot accesses everything that they have permissions to, it could bring back in answers or recommendations data that they shouldn't be seeing. So this is all about protecting your data and making sure you have the right access and the security on your SharePoint. If you haven't got data in SharePoint and you want documents to be used in Copilot and accessed in Copilot, then you need to move that data into the Microsoft Graph, so into SharePoint if it's documents and lists, things like that, rather than have them sitting in other systems, because then they won't be able to interact with Copilot. So non-compliance is a massive one. So that's the next thing we're going to cover. Regulatory non-compliance is a major concern for people. So going back to the permissions element, GDPR and CCPA is the American sort of version, can result in severe penalties if you go beyond that, if you break that. So all organisations have personal detail on their systems, typically HR related for people's personal addresses, personal emails, personal phone numbers. So it's making sure that's protected and that's locked down, and people that aren't supposed to have access to it cannot have access to it. We know with GDPR that there are, you know, fines up to a certain percentage of your business turnover on that. So it's important to make sure you stay within compliance. So another concern is the loss of competitive edge, because Copilot is a game changer for a lot of organisations. So all that data that's in your Microsoft Graph needs to be available to get the most out of your Copilot. So as we said before, ensuring that you've got the right content with the right permissions and security in place to enjoy that Copilot seamless integration, so enhancing your efficiency and innovation rather than maybe holding it back if you've only got part of your data set within Microsoft 365. Whereas businesses that have, you know, done proper preparation, that have got all their content within 365, that have moved away from their Dropbox or their Google Drive or whatever, you know, shared drives they were using before, Copilot will be able to access all of those, and you'll be able to reference those old documents in possibly creating new documents. So again, you're giving yourself a helping hand all the time, rather than not having everything you need and possibly recreating things. So inadequate risk management can lead to unexpected problems that could have been prevented. So we've had clients that have come to us that have had a few licenses for Copilot for Microsoft 365, and then they've started to see issues, and people have discovered stuff. So then they sort of unallocate those licenses and then do retrospectively put the relevant security in place. So it's much better to be proactive and make sure it's done first, rather than be reactive after the event, when it might be, after the horse has already bolted as such. So insufficient readiness could lead to costly downtime and errors. So again, it's misallocation of resources, making sure people are properly prepared, properly planned. Copilot can be treated as a project by a lot of organisations. So it has a budget for it, not just for the licensing, but of course there's professional services involved, there's Copilot awareness, user training. And some of the key things with Copilot is understanding the prompts and how you should write a prompt and how you should put a prompt together to get the best out of Copilot. When I first started using it, I struggled to get good, meaningful content because I wasn't putting in the full details of what I needed. So it's understanding that. So proper preparation helps ensure that resources are used effectively, efficiently, and timelines are met and budgets are adhered to. So let's now delve into how our Copilot compliance check service can help you achieve this. So our Copilot compliance check is a comprehensive service designed to ensure your IT department environment is fully prepared for Copilot. The compliance check is priced at $2,995, but for those who have registered for this webinar and attending today, we're offering a special discounted event price of $1,995. So this is an investment in the security and efficiency of your business. So with our service, you can be confident that your Copilot integration will be smooth and secure. So what does it cover? Is ensure that your business is fully prepared to leverage the power of Copilot without any disruptions or risks. This proactive approach can save you from significant headaches down the line. So there's the initial consultation, the all-important SharePoint security review, your Microsoft license review. So what have you got currently? Can they be used with Copilot? What recommendations might we make to have more security on your licenses? And then the compliance evaluation, making sure that the content that you've got, what standards you need to meet, because in some industries standards are a lot tougher than others. We work with some pharmaceutical clients and they have really tight standards of what documents and what content can be seen by what people. So it's not just a compliance check and a readiness report from us. So we provide the follow-up support to help you prepare for Copilot, or can provide a proposal to deliver the solution that you require before you move to Copilot. So it's very much a case of working with us in more of a consultative approach, rather than we deliver the report and away you go. So we're there to help you through that. So open for any questions you may have about Copilot, its integration, or our Copilot compliance check. So please feel free to ask anything that comes to mind. Our goal is to make sure you have all the information you need to move forward confidently. Okay, one of the key things with the cost is currently Microsoft only offer it as an annual subscription. So with a lot of subscriptions and a lot of our clients, they're on a monthly payment, but it's an annual commitment. With Copilot, it's annual upfront only at the moment. So for year one, you purchase that as a complete subscription at $296.40 plus VAT per user. But then following that, you can then co-term them with your existing licenses. So if you've got Microsoft 365 Business Premium that expire in December, the year after when your Copilot comes up for renewal, you can co-term that with your other Microsoft licenses. We're hoping that over time, Microsoft will release it as a monthly payment product, but that's not currently available.
Ian, we've had a question about what's the implementation process of Copilot.
Well, it's most simplistic level, you purchase a license, you allocate it to a user, and that user has Copilot for Microsoft 365. So as long as they've got a valid license for Microsoft 365 Business Standard, Business Premium, Microsoft 365 E3, E5, or Office 365 E3, E5, you'll be able to use Copilot. Now, as Paul said in his element, the further up the chain you are with Microsoft, the more security you've got around that data as well. So the further you go up the chain, so for smaller businesses and charities, it tends to be Business Premium, Microsoft 365 Business Premium. That has the relevant sort of security for them. For enterprise organisations and organisations with specific compliance needs, it tends to be the Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 enterprise SKUs that people have. So yeah, so we'll be emailing you out a white paper that we've produced covering this topic. So it's a quick white paper that shows you what the risks are and what the mitigation is. So really, we look forward to helping you make the most of Copilot for Microsoft 365. And please feel free to contact us, not just around Copilot, but anything Microsoft 365 related, we'll be happy to discuss and talk to you about. We have available Q&As that you can book in to our consultants' calendars to have a session on SharePoint if you've got questions about that, Microsoft 365 in general, and we can try and help you along the way, which is part of our remit as a Microsoft Gold partner, is increasing awareness of Microsoft's products and solutions, because Microsoft sees one way of how they target everything and how they market things. It's very American focused. So in the UK, things are slightly different. So we try and explain to people how some of these things work, what the benefits are for them, and where it comes into play. For me, the biggest thing with Copilot is the meeting recap that Paul spoke about in Teams. So now when I arrange a Teams call with a client, it automatically gets recorded, it automatically gets transcribed, all my meeting notes are provided afterwards, all my action points are provided afterwards, and I can easily cut and paste that and share that with the client as well. So they have access to all that information, so we can agree, this is exactly what we spoke about, this is what's captured, these are the actions. So things like that are really, really powerful and save me an awful lot of time from taking notes and then, you know, adding them onto a different system. But if there's any more questions, Paul?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We've given you a few minutes back as well, which is great. We always like to try and, you know, keep these things under 45 minutes if we can, to retain that attention span.
Decrease digital debt, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be sending out those emails covering the white paper and everything else, but please feel free to contact us if you have any pressing questions or inquiries. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Hope you got something beneficial out of this and look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Thank you very much.